Okay guys, today I wanted to share with you how I got my first job as a software developer and how I did lose it in exactly 1 week. So I'll try to make it short. First of all, why did I get hired despite of having much commercial experience? Well, it was a fast hiring company, so they make a lot of offers and they do it really quick with no extra movements whatsoever. So HR reached to me, they suggested me a test task. I took it and I researched this task in GitHub if somebody already done it. There were some examples, but they were not quite useful, so I decided to make it simple but at least somewhat useful, and I came up with such an application. I can create tasks and move them around through the days of week. So that was basically it. The interesting part was that they said that the task should take 3 or 4 hours maximum, but it took me 8 hours to complete, and even then later at 11 p.m. I submitted even more commits to it, make it more pretty, and in the end it was okay. So it took longer, but I did it. I tried to did it really well. So I think that's why I got hired. So the first thoughts on this will be, first of all, be confident on interviews, show people interviewing you some knowledge, and don't explicitly say that you're a junior. If they don't ask, okay, just don't say it. Okay, if you're confident, that will be okay. So make the test. They give you somewhat functional, okay, something you could use, not just a demo stand which has no value, but try to make it somewhat useful or maybe promising. And the last thought on this, that it doesn't matter if it takes you twice as much time as it should. Just do the quality work and you might get hired. So after that, the CEO of the company wrote me in the messenger and said, okay, you are hired, here's a wiki page, VPN access, and on the start of next week you'll get the onboarding session. And so I said, okay, cool, and I started to read the wiki. I read it for some time, but I didn't read it all through. Okay, I left some because I thought that there will be time for this on Monday, or maybe I'll get the whole week of getting to know the stuff, and that's where was my second mistake. So my advice to you, if you have some information in advance before you actually have your first working day, just do everything in advance. Read as much as possible, ask questions, and prepare your VPN connection, everything you might need, because you might not have enough time. That was the case here. So on Monday they gave me my first ticket. Well, actually they asked me, are you ready, like, do you have a VPN connection? I said, okay, I did connection, I have connection. So they gave me the ticket, and I tried to set up my VS Code more carefully. I wasn't hurrying anyway, but the PM said after 4 hours, okay, how's the progress? What have you done already? What is the time of your ticket? What the estimated arrival time? And I said, whoa, okay, I need more time. I'm setting up my environment. I want to be thorough with this. He said, you gotta be more fast. We gotta show some progress. I said, okay, I'll try. And I dig up into this issue like very thoroughly. I investigated the problem. I found out many bugs. I tried to fix them. I got to the backend, even found some errors there, but in the end I didn't make much commits. Okay, I just stuck at one problem and tried to solve it, and that was, I think, my second mistake. So my advice to you would be, try to make simple tasks first if it's possible. Ask your project manager to give you a more simple task. If you investigate it for some time, you understand that this will take a long time, and this is just your first week. So just ask him, okay, is there something more simpler? Because I can't even give you an estimated time, because it's a hard problem for me now. I think that would be better for me. So the next big mistake, and it's a big mistake, and yeah, I think new people make this in development, but experienced people don't make it because it's a no. I didn't pay much attention to the cleanliness of my commits. I had a prettier setup which reformatted the code on safe, and so my commits had many reformat changes, and I didn't pay much attention. I don't exactly know why. I thought, oh, okay, they can figure out. Well, I noticed that there was a format change, but I thought, okay, no problem. You still can read the code. But later I did understood that it's such a pain in the ass. So always make your commits clean. And from my experience now, I also recommend you to do a rebase and put your commits, like several commits, into one. Maybe split them. In other case, you might split them if they have different changes in different places. So, but I guess that comes with experience. So the advice is, make your commits very clean. That is really important. And the next problem I had is I immediately felt myself part of the team. I immediately felt myself responsible for the product, and I tried my best to make my work good, and I actually didn't know what my real value was, how they will check my progress. So I stuck on one problem and tried to solve it really nice. I wrote to people, I tried to convince them that there is a problem on my ticket that should be addressed. But in the end, it would be much better that if I just made a simple tasks, asked no one, just made my commits, clean commits, and have a bunch of them at the end of the week. So the advice I have for you is, don't assume your role by yourself. Ask your project manager how he will evaluate you, how company evaluates you the first week. What is your KPI after all, and what considered bad or good. Just don't assume yourself. You're part of the team and you know better what to do. So in the end of the week, in the evening, the CEO wrote me, I'm sorry guy, but your commits are not good enough. Not enough of them, and basically you just don't fit. Okay, so that's the advices I have for you. Let's make a recap. Be confident on interviews, show some knowledge, don't explicitly say you are a junior. Second one, make your task functional and somewhat useful, and also pretty code, pretty look, at least neat. That's what gives you, and it doesn't matter if you spend more time that is required. Just make a quality work. Maybe that's what they're after, not the time, but ability to make quality product in the end. Next one, if you have information before you get to the first working day, just study it thoroughly. Like do everything you can think of. Just read all the documentation. Prepare yourself, because there might be no time for you in such companies. Next one, if you see a hard task, if you think the task is hard enough, just ask if you can make a simpler one first. Maybe it's okay. It doesn't hurt to ask, but in the end you might make more contribution in your first week. And really, really important one, just learn to use Git and always make your commits clean. Disable pretty-fire, or before pushing a branch, before making the commit, just check what changes are made by your editor to the code base. Remove extra comments, extra debug lines, and all the unnecessary reformatting. That is really important. In any company, they will immediately notice if you make a dirty commit. The second one, don't assume your role in the company on your first week at least. Ask your project manager how he will evaluate you, what are good results and what are bad results, and do what he asks you to do. And the last one, I heard this a lot actually. Maybe you don't need to apply for a job that you're not suited for. That might turn out to be a good experience, but if you just might be not good for you to get hired in the first week. So just maybe take a small step. Well, that's okay. That's it for now. Thank you. I hope this was helpful for some of you. Bye.